Brilliant. I think everyone has connected now. So welcome to our final Head Start online session. And if I'm being honest, I think this is probably one of my favorite ones to do, part of our Head Start online series, because this is our Ask Us Anything session, where literally we can talk about so many different topics, and I've got members of staff from different areas of Kingston University, some of whom you may have met before during the live sessions that we've held over the last 6 weeks. Some may be new faces. You may have heard their voices voicing over a presentation that's pre-recorded on our Head Start online platform, and now you're meeting them sort of on the screen here. So a real mix of things going on. So just to introduce myself, I'm Hannah. I'm part of the Head Start team. Many of you may have seen me pop up in the majority of your live sessions during Head Start. So thank you for coming along today. Just to go through for the final time, just some Zoom housekeeping bits and pieces for this session. Please can I ask that you are aware of your microphone. This is an Ask Us Anything question panel. We obviously want to hear from you. We're here to answer your questions today. However, if your microphone is on and you may be doing lots of other bits and pieces while you are part of this session, some of that background noise could cause interference during this session and be quite distracting. So keep yourselves on mute. However, as I said, we want to hear from you. We're here to answer your questions. So I'm going to be sharing with you in a moment the platform that we're going to be using today. It's called Slido. Some of you who were part of the earlier Head Start sessions may be very familiar with this platform. Others, this may be totally new. I will help you join that, and that will be the main method where we are using for you to ask your questions to us today. However, if you do feel confident during the session to come off mute and ask your question live, absolutely, you're more than welcome to do so. But if you wouldn't mind using the option to raise your hand, just so that I can come to you at the right moment during this session to invite you to talk to us all. If your connection drops out, then feel free to rejoin us at any time, even if you get called away and you have to come back later. That's absolutely fine. We will be monitoring the wait room throughout, so we'll let you back in when you can rejoin us. Also, I'm recording this session. That means that you have the opportunity to come and rewatch that session at a later time. So you don't necessarily have to take notes, but I would recommend if you ask a question and somebody's answering that for you, then take a note of it so that you've got it on your records. And be involved. This is a great opportunity, and our team are really excited to sort of help you out here, because I know this is quite a difficult and anxious time where you've probably got lots of things you want to ask us before you start in a few weeks' time. Welcome Week is drawing ever closer. One thing I will say though, when we introduce the members of staff, there are no faculty representatives during this session. So we're talking about generic student queries that we can answer today. If you do have a specific question about your course, then you can of course ask it, and we'll take a record of that behind the scenes and try and get the appropriate faculty members of staff to answer that at a later date. So that's what I will say. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to the team that's here today in this session. So we'll go around in no particular order, just who I have on my screen. So first of all, Julia, would you mind introducing yourself, please?
Thanks, Hannah. Hi, everybody. Really lovely to see you. My name is Julia, and I'm the Student Enrichment Manager. And so I can answer questions about things that you can do alongside your course. Maybe you're interested in being a mentor or having a mentor. You might want to find out about activities you can do, becoming a course rep or a student ambassador, those kinds of things.
Brilliant, thank you, Julia. Next up, I've got Rebecca.
Hi, hello there. My name is Rebecca Blake and I'm the Senior Regional Manager in the university's international team. So if you have any questions, if you're an EU or an international student and you have any questions about studying here as an EU or an international student, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Rebecca. Next up, Beth.
Hi everyone, my name's Beth. So I work on the KU Care scheme, which is a scheme that supports UK students who are under 25, who have come from local authority care, so like foster care, residential children's homes, are estranged from their families or are a young adult carer. So if you meet any of those criteria, you can ask a question. If you'd prefer to ask it privately, you can feel free to put it in the chat if you don't want to ask out.
Thank you very much, Beth. Adam, you're next.
Hi everyone, yeah, my name's Adam. I work in the Sale office. We look after study and work abroad placements that you can do as part of your degree. So we have over 300 partner universities that you can choose to study abroad at, or of course you can do any work placement anywhere in the world that is approved by your faculty. So the kind of questions that you might like to ask me are where you can go, when you can go as part of your degree, how it works, how you earn credits and how it fits in with your course.
Brilliant, thank you, Adam. Jenna, on to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenna Barron. I'm a student counsellor in the Counselling and Wellbeing team. So I can answer questions about how you might access emotional support during your time at Kingston. So I can tell you about the services we offer and how we support you. And I might know a little bit as well about sort of the wider reaching holistic care that we do within wellbeing. And if I can't answer, I'll obviously let you know where you can find out. So yeah, all welcome.
Brilliant, thank you, Jenna. Sarah, over to you.
Hello everybody, my name's Sarah. I'm one of the information specialists in Library and Learning Services. So I look after a team of subject librarians. I think you may have met Karen at one of the Head Start sessions who did a little overview. Karen's in the SEC subject team. So I'm happy to answer any questions about library resources and services and how they can support you while you study.
Brilliant, thank you, Sarah. Megan, over to you.
Hi guys, I'm Megan. I'm from the accommodation team. We're known as the allocation team, so you can contact us and ask any questions regarding kind of allocations or your room, when you're starting, when you can move in, etc. So yes.
Brilliant, thank you, Megan. Then we've got Andrew.
Hi there, I'm from the student achievement team. My colleague Charlotte will be joining us around about 2:30 because we're both in the same meeting at the moment. So we're going to sort of share this session with you and no doubt we'll both be with you for the last part of the session as well. Just to let you know, we are based across the university, but we both look after different areas. So mine is Faculty of Business and Social Sciences. Charlotte's is Science, Engineering and Computing. We've also got a colleague, Neboisha, who is in Health, Social Care and Education, and Bethan in the Kingston School of Art. A lot of the questions we tend to get are around, even though we haven't got faculty representatives here, it might be we can help with some faculty-based questions, particularly around sort of the admin side of things, but also yeah, we'll just see how it goes really. But also, you know, if things aren't going according to plan, or if you want to explore some different options around the university with us as well. So hello to those of you that have met me before, but like I said, I will disappear in a minute. Charlotte will take over and then no doubt I'll be back.
Thank you, Andrew. Then Marette. Marette, are you there? Oh, we can see you and just have to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Hi, my name is Maretta. I am one of the student life advisors, so welfare advisor. So my role at university is to support students around their student finance. So today I can answer questions around student finance, welfare benefits, debt, that kind of thing.
Brilliant, thank you, Marette. Tadu, you're up next.
Everyone, my name is Tadu and I work as an entrepreneurship and incubation coordinator in the enterprise team. And I mainly manage the Nest, which is Kingston University's incubation space. And I help leading the Bright Ideas competition, which is the university annual competition, where you could win £1,000, seven categories of £1,000. So I could answer any questions about the competition, which is open now. Anything about entrepreneurship, if you want to start your own business, if you have your own business and you want any mentoring or any advice, I would be able to answer that.
Thank you.
Anything related.
Thank you. Can you just tell us a little bit, you said about you managing the incubation space. Can you just give us a bit more overview about what that is, please?
Yeah, of course. So what it is it's an incubation hub, so business hub, where we have somewhere where you could work. So it is free for all Kingston University students. So you have a workspace, a desk in the Kingston Business School. You get access to mentoring as well. So if you want a one-to-one mentor, you get expert sessions. So accounting, legal, marketing, and all of that is technically for free. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you today. And Christina, last but definitely not least.
You might have met me before. I've been at a couple of Head Start sessions. I work in the Access, Participation and Inclusion team, and I head up all of our kind of transition activities. So that is welcome. We run lots of welcome activities during Welcome Week, and we also run the Residence Life programme, which runs in our halls of residence.
Brilliant. Thank you, Christina. So I've been marking off on my sheet to make sure that I've asked everyone to invite, and I think I've got everyone. But this is your opportunity now, if I have unfortunately missed anyone out, just to speak up. No, okay, I've been quite efficient in that department, so that's good. So that's our team. Those are the people that are going to be with us over the next 2 hours, or just under 2 hours, to answer your queries. But now the important part is, how are you going to ask them your questions? So on your screen now, you should see a screen here saying to join us on Slido. So if you have a spare device or tablet in front of you, then you can open up the camera on that device and hover it over this QR code on your screen now, and it will take you directly to the Slido platform. However, if you want to open it up, but you've only got one device available, so the device that you're watching us now on, you just have to open a separate tab and go to slido.com, and then at the top of the screen there will be an option which says to join the session. Just type in Head Start, all lowercase and one word, and you should then be able to access this site. Christina will have, I believe, put a little link into the chat for you to do it, and she's just repeated it again now. So slido.com, and then to join the session, just enter in Head Start, or you can scan the QR code here on your device. So just to warm you up really, and just to get you familiar with this platform if this is totally new to you, just a quick question is, where in the world are you joining us from today? So it should come up on your screen now if you've connected with us, so that you can submit your devices. Someone joining us from India, wow. Very local, London, and also Kingston. So your commute to university won't be very far. Loughborough, Manchester. So I assume both those will be probably moving into halls of residence or private accommodation when you come and stay. It's a bit far to travel. Any more? Mumbai. Wow. Went to Mumbai a few years ago. Amazing. so crazy over there. But yeah, lots of people from London, because as the bigger the text is, that means the more people that we have in that area. So only 8 people have responded to that, but we've got far more on this call. So please do join this platform. This is where we're going to be answering the majority of your questions today. So do come. If you've missed the joining instructions, they're either in the chat or you can see them on the side of the screen here. Next question is, how have you found your Head Start experience so far? I always get a bit nervous when I ask this question. Amazing. Okay, that's a good start. I like that. It's been a long 6 weeks, but we've got there. We've made it to the end. Excellent! Exclamation mark. Helpful, fun. Oh, really positive things that you said, so thank you for that. Really appreciate that, and I believe all the members of staff as well will feel the same, because they've all been helping me to take part and deliver you know, the last 6 weeks for you all. Great, helpful, interesting, fun, cool, brilliant. Thank you for those for that feedback today. So 9 people participated in that one, so still a few more people to come and join us. Now, those are all the complex questions that I'm going to ask you guys. Now it's your turn to kind of hit us with your questions. So when you have the Slido screen open, there should be a tab at the top which says Q&A. So some questions have started to come through now. So I'm just going to pop them on the screen now. Going through. Right, let's get going. Everyone ready? So first question now, Adam, you are oh, it's changed now, but I'm going to mark that at the top because that's the first one that I saw. Adam, what are the top countries for study abroad, and what affiliate universities do you work with? That could be a long answer.
Yeah, I'll make it as short as possible. Yeah, so usually our most popular destination is California State University, which is obviously based in the USA. We have a number of other partners in the USA. We have Grand Valley, UNCC. But also some of the other popular destinations are Australia, Korea. South Korea is often very popular. China. And we have a whole host of partner universities all over Europe as well. So there's lots of choice for you. But yeah, the most popular destinations tend to be the USA and Australia. I don't know if that's because they speak English there, but just to remind everybody that even if you study abroad in a European destination where the first language isn't English, for example, most of our partners do teach entirely in English. So if you were worried about the language barrier, it's not something that you necessarily need to worry about.
Brilliant, thank you, Adam. And on the Head Start Online platform, Adam has passed on the information for all of the affiliate universities that are relevant for the faculty you will be joining. So you can kind of see a more comprehensive list. And he's also done a lovely little presentation as well, just giving you more information about study abroad. So thank you, Adam, for that one.
Thank you.
Oh, good one. Top tips for managing stress and a large workload. Andrew, I'm going to ask you this one.
Yeah, that's fine. There might be a bit of overlap with the wellbeing team as well on this one. I think there's a couple of things here. First of all, to identify, if possible, what the actual stressors are. They come in different forms. If you know you're not good with deadlines and you tend to leave things to the last minute, and that's what gets you, anxious and worried and stressed, have a think about breaking some of those barriers down. It could be that you actually come and speak to somebody like myself and Charlotte, and we look at some time management and study planning with you. It could be that you actually liaise back with your personal tutor or your academics. It could be that you're not quite clear on, the requirements of an essay, for example, or that presentations worry you, things like that. So that's some of the things. Also, trying to plan ahead. You probably had it mentioned already. your work will be located on Canvas, and that's where a lot of the information on deadlines and information about the assessments and submission dates will be on there. And you should really be able to start to plan ahead over the next couple of weeks. They should start to populate around about the start of term, so you'll be able to see when a lot of those deadlines are going to come along and when you're going to start getting a bit of a traffic jam. So try and plan ahead of those. The other thing I would mention is that if you've had support before for this kind of things, for example, extra time, study support, or if you've got a long-term health condition that is tied in with this, do relay back to the disability and mental health team to make sure that you're getting the right support in place to try and minimise some of those risks, you know, to your well-being as well. So that's really sort of quick overview, but I wonder if anybody in wellbeing had any ideas as well. I can always come back on this.
Thanks. I think Jenna, this one would be a good one for you.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew's answered it very well. But yeah, just to sort of add to it, that you're probably definitely not alone. A lot of obviously students will feel exactly the same. It is, you know, obviously inevitable that you will be managing some stress and managing a workload. So knowing that you're not alone in that, but also in terms of what we offer, we do offer stress and time management sessions. They're offered for 50 minutes at a time, so it's a good chance to actually talk through how you're feeling, and then further support can be offered following that. So when you are here, and if you are in that position where you're feeling stressed and wanting to talk about it, then do reach out and book an appointment with us. But also know that it's very normal, and I guess it's the impact that it's having that is the thing to look at. But yeah, just know that we're here to support you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenna.
And it isn't always academic stress as well. It could be money stress, it could be accommodation stress, it could be, you know, there's an overlap with lots of different, you know, teams here. But I think the key thing is to ask for some help sooner rather than later, rather than that potentially little thing becoming much bigger and bubbling up and becoming more of a problem for you. So it's much better just to ask, and it could be in this session you can predict, you know, some worries that you might have. Maybe use this session or certainly your induction, personal tutor, or come and speak to one of us when you're actually here as well, and we'll see what we can do to help.
That's brilliant, lovely. Some great advice there, which I'm sure everyone will find very useful. Also, if you've heard from our members of staff as well, we also have our student ambassadors who are part of Head Start Online, many of you that you may have met during some of our live sessions. They're also a great resource to sort of ask them direct questions about how they have personally coped with stress and time management and all of those things. And if you log on to the Head Start Online platform, which I'll show you in a bit later towards the end of this session, you can go and find and search for all of their profiles to ask them direct questions. Great, so that one is done. I don't know what's happening to my screen. It's gone a bit slow now, so we'll go tick that one off. Rebecca, what documents are needed to apply for a student visa?
Okay, so I would recommend having a look at our visa and immigration advice on our website, because it's very comprehensive and there are certain requirements depending on which country you're applying for your visa from. But broadly speaking, you would need a confirmation of acceptance of study, so CAS. This is an electronic document that says we are going to sponsor you for your visa. You would need either a passport or travel document, financial documents, so these are bank statements to show the financial requirements to get a student visa. You also need your academic and English language qualification. And depending on where you're applying for, you may be required to have a tuberculosis medical certificate or a TB certificate. But as I said, there's much more detailed information on our web pages around the documents that students need to provide. So that's just really a broad overview. And if you've got any questions or concerns, you can contact one of our immigration advisors and they'll be able to help you.
Brilliant, and I've popped that on the screen there about the student visa application. I hope that's the right sort of page, Rebecca.
That is absolutely, So if you scroll down, there's more information about the documents that students need to produce when they're applying for the visa.
Brilliant, and Christina's been very helpful with adding that to the chat now as well for a direct link. Thank you, Rebecca. Next question is, one thing you would advise for saving money while at university? Mirette.
Okay, so the one thing I would say is the one thing that always catches people out is regular habits. So one thing you need to look at is, what is your regular habit? So for example, it could be going to Starbucks quite regularly to get your coffees. So one of the things you could do is look at bringing a thermos or one of those cups that you can buy that you can bring your own coffee, because you'll be surprised at how much you spend eating out. So I think one thing I would say is to be prepared. If you can be, as much as you can. So for example, if you know there are days you'll have to come in, it's going to be cheaper to make a packed lunch and bring that in. It's going to be cheaper to have a thermos coffee, because all those little costs, they do add up. You don't think about it on a daily basis because it doesn't cost a lot, but it does all add up. So that would be the thing I would say.
Thank you, Mirette. Some very wise advice there. It's quite easy. You don't really realise sometimes where you're spending this money. So yeah, you've got to try and keep on top of it. Do we have to set up an RCP for tuition fees if we have taken out a student loan? Mirette, is this one for you as well? I'm not sure what RCP stands for.
I do know what RCP means. Okay, it's a recurring payment. So if you have the letter from Student Finance confirming that you are going to get a tuition fee loan, and you've checked your entitlement letter that you would have received from Student Finance, and it says it's for Kingston University, then you don't really need to set up a recurring payment plan or any kind of recurring payment with the university, because what will happen is at some point the university will make contact with Student Finance and will confirm your attendance, which takes your tuition fees. The circumstances where you might be asked to set up an RCP is in the enrolment process. If you're not getting Student Finance, or there may be a massive delay in setting up your Student Finance, then you may in those circumstances be asked to set up a separate payment plan with the university.
Great, thank you, Mirette. Hopefully that's answered your query on that one, whoever asked this one. Megan, when will applicants who have applied to stay in some of the renovated halls of residence, is there any option to view the images of the rooms?
Hi guys, so at the moment we have gone to all the hall sites and done new virtual tours. So we've been very, very hard this year to update our website, update our virtual tours and pictures. This might not be up on the website for a few weeks. It's still kind of with the developer at the moment, but as soon as we have it, we'll add it to the website. The only other option that you can actually do is contact the halls team for that site. So for example, Seething Wells, they might be able to give you kind of an unofficial photo from their hall site. I know that the resident life team at Seething Wells and Kingston Hill are planning to do that as well. So yeah, feel free to contact them as well to get pictures.
Thank you, Megan. How do they have a specific email to the hall? Is it just how best to do that? Is there any information on contacting them?
Yeah, so the hall sites are on the website, but what I can do is also just get the address for the resident life team and just pop that in the chat for you guys, because that's probably the easiest way of contacting Seething Wells and Kingston Hill. So I'll do that now for you.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Megan. Next question. Julia, are there any jobs on campus available for students, and do those jobs require work experience?
There are loads of jobs on campus and most of them don't require previous experience. So we have a big student ambassador scheme where students help with student recruitment events like open days, and higher education fairs in schools. They also help with our outreach program. We go to loads of schools and colleges, and really we employ students because they are best placed to tell other people what it's like being a student. And also, you know, people who are thinking about coming to uni, they don't really want to ask staff. They really connect much better with students. And other jobs around campus, we have a couple of calling jobs, so you can help on the clearing hotline. You can also help with our fundraising callers, so sort of calling alumni, and in our fundraising team. There are loads of jobs in the library. Yeah, lots and lots of things around the university, and most of them, as I said, don't need experience, and all of them are paid the London living wage, which is currently about £12.15 an hour, I think. So yeah, and I think the good thing about a lot of those opportunities is that they're really flexible, so they tend to be sort of, you know, 1 or 2 hour shifts that you can work around your course or your other commitments, and a lot of them are a mixture of online and in person, sort of, because that's the way the university is operating at the minute.
Brilliant, thank you, Julia. And hopefully the student ambassadors that you've come into contact with during Head Start as well, you know, they've sort of given you a bit of a taste about what to expect as part of that role as well. So, and that may have inspired you to want to do it yourself. Brilliant, thank you. How do I ask for help if I need some help finding books for my work? So I'm assuming university work, Sarah.
Hello, yes, I'd assume so. There are a number of different routes. If you are on campus, if you go into any of the 4 campus libraries, then each has an information centre desk, and the staff there can get you started with searching on ICAT or accessing reading lists. Every module, once you've got access to your Canvas modules, each one will have a link to your reading list. So that's a really good key place to start looking at the recommended titles, particularly the first few weeks at university. So that's certainly one place you look once you've got enrolled on those Canvas modules. If you want a bit more specific assistance, then you can use the library chat function, or you can make an appointment face-to-face or virtually with a subject librarian. Would it be helpful if I just put a link to that contact page in the chat, and then you've got a link to live chat in there, and you've got the names and details of all your subject librarians. If you want a little bit of information about how to start using ICAT, which is the University Library Catalogue, you'll automatically be enrolled on Library Canvas. And there's also information and little short videos on how to navigate ICAT, how to borrow a book, that kind of thing, on Library Canvas as well.
That's great. Thank you so much, Sarah. And also, you know, as when Sarah did her introduction as well, she mentioned that her colleague, Karen, had come and done an introduction to the basics of researching and referencing. And there was a small bit of talk about ICAT and how to use that. So we have recorded that session that you can watch back. So thank you, Sarah. Hello, I know nothing on my start date and where I will have to go on my start date. Will I receive an email with all the information closer to the date? So what I would suggest is first is if you can message Christina directly with your K number, your student ID, and she can have a little look into that for you, specifically individually to you. But Christina, just to give us a little recap, you know, what do students need to do if they're a bit unsure about their start date?
Sure. So most courses start on the 20th of September with Welcome Week, and you'll have course induction taking place during that week. And we also have welcome activities, social events, freshers fair and freshers events are running. And then most teaching will start on the 27th, but there are some courses that do start earlier. And if you do start earlier, you should have received confirmation and information from your faculty with an alternative schedule and your start date. But if you haven't had anything, drop me a message in the private chat, and I'll have a look into your specific case for you.
Brilliant, thank you, Christina. Oh, interesting one. How many percentage of people usually attend freshers events except the fair? I don't know exact numbers, and unfortunately our representative from the union could not attend today. But I think what I will say for this is this is the first freshers activities that we have coming back on campus following the year of when we were going through lockdowns and this, that and the other. So the Union of Kingston Students has released the events that are taking place. There may be some more to be revealed, but it is open to all Kingston students, new students joining us as well as current students as well. So I would hope that many of them will be very well attended because people will want to get involved and have a bit of fun, which is all part of that Welcome Week experience. Would you agree with that, Christina?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just such a good, it's a great way to meet people outside of your course as well. And I think that's so important for connections, finding people that you have stuff in common with, and just have a bit of fun. Sometimes it's a bit scary and nervous, and you have to remember that most people will feel like that. So you're not alone, and pushing yourself to go to more social events, you'll meet people who probably feel the same way you do.
Thank you, Christina. Good advice there. So what I would suggest is I've got the Union of Kingston Students website up here. I'm just trying to drag it onto my screen now. I don't know if it will work. Here we go. Brilliant. So if you go to kingstonstudents.net, I'll just post that in the chat now. If you go to this website here, you've got information about Freshers Week, the lineup and how to buy your tickets. What I would say is if you are keen to go to the Freshers activities that are taking place and they do require you to purchase tickets in advance, then do them as soon as possible because they tend to normally be cheaper the earlier that you book them on, and they have some discounted rates in comparison to if you were to book nearer to the event, they'd be a little bit more expensive. So yeah, plan ahead and book your tickets now. Next question, Rebecca. And I know over Head Start we've had lots of questions about this, and I know that you may not be able to answer this, in full detail because each case is individual. Give us an update about CAS and what people should do if they're worried about this.
Okay, yes, I mean, we are at this time of the year, we're sort of processing our peak volume of CAS requests. So it is taking us a little bit longer than it normally would for us to release those CAS to students. But if you've provided all of your documents, our CAS team will be checking them and they will be getting those CAS out as quickly as they possibly can. We will have been emailing over the last few days. We've been emailing all of our offer holders to advise them about latest start dates, latest arrival dates for their courses. So there is still time, but they do, you do need to be mindful about those late arrival dates. So yes, we will get to your CAS. The team are working very hard to get those out to you.
Would you recommend, though, Rebecca, that if they've already emailed the CAS team, that it has been noted and not to keep on emailing, they will get in touch with you directly?
Yes, that's right. That's absolutely right. Yes, yeah. They will, if there is any documents outstanding or they have a query, they will contact you. But if everything's been provided that we need to make a decision on the CAS, then yes, you don't need to email us again.
Brilliant, thank you, Rebecca. Great advice there. So yeah, if you've emailed, it will have been noted, and they will be in touch with you. So I know it's stressful, I know it's a worrying time, but just try and be as patient as possible, and we'll get this issue sorted. Is there a way to make one-time transaction payments for accommodation, or does it have to be through a recurring card payment? Megan?
Yes, so You can actually pay by 2 ways. So it has to either be instalments, which will be a free or recurring card payment, and that'll be 3 instalments, or you actually can pay in full. So you can pay one-time payment for the full year. That needs to be sent to us, well, to the finance team by the 4th of October. And then the first instalment date for anyone that's kind of interested is the 14th of October. So there's no deposits and there's no money that needs to be sorted out by then, until then. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Megan. What I want to do is just take a little pause from the questions, because I believe our Student Achievement Advisor, Charlotte, has joined us and taken over from Andrew, who you met earlier. Charlotte, if you are there and available, would you mind coming off mute and introducing yourself, please?
Hi everyone, can you hear me, Hannah?
I can, yes.
Fantastic. I've got different headphones today, so I wasn't sure. So I'm Charlotte. I'm one of the achievement advisors. I believe you met my colleague Andrew earlier. There's 4 of us in our team. We each look after different courses. So Andrew may have mentioned that he looks after sort of business and law, psychology, sociology kind of courses. I look after courses such as computing, mathematics, engineering such as civil engineering, and the environment. So if you're on geography or environmental science, I also look after those courses. So each of us have different areas, different types of students that we look after in our role. It's essentially to help give extra support to some students that might need it through the year. So no, you don't have to. It's never compulsory. It's just an offer of additional support for certain groups of students, I should say. So normally things like where things have gone wrong for the students, where they're not so much on track. But we know a little bit about everything to help those students, which is, we're not saying anybody here is necessarily going to fail. It's more because we know a little bit about everything, and we're very much attached to your faculties. That's why we're here today.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for that. Hopefully questions will be directed towards you during this session. Mirette, question for you. Tips on what to spend on using student loan and what not to spend on?
This is deeply subjective.
I know.
Okay. I would say that what you need to do before you start is do a budget. And if you attended our money management session, you've got plenty of information about that. And I think that session has been put online. So if you didn't attend, you can have a look. Because the reason why I say you need to do a budget is because it does help you work out things that have to be paid versus things that are not as important. So for example, I would say an important key thing that needs to be paid obviously is your rent. That has to be paramount. If you have children, it might be childcare. Other things that are important are utilities. So doing a budget really kind of helps focus you on those things. Things that are not, I don't know, because everyone is different. But I would say that what you might want to do is think about how much you're eating out if you do like to eat out. Perhaps put that as a luxury thing that you do once in a while as opposed to kind of every day. That kind of thing might be something you think about, okay, maybe I'm just spending a little bit too much out, or equally in terms of transport, if you're using a lot of Uber, if you can take buses and things like that to reduce your travel costs, those are good things. So I think I'll leave it there in terms of stuff.
Can I just ask, Mirette, in just a bit of advice is, you know, would you say that the student loan is enough for students to live on if they want, or do students tend to normally have to do extra work?
I would say, again, it's subjective because it's all about how much what your living costs are. I mean, the amount of student finance does go up, the maintenance loan does go up every year. So my understanding this year is around 12,300. That, I would say, should be enough to cover basic needs. I mean, it's up to students and whether they think they need to do extra work. That might be good for them in terms of the CV and in terms of money perspective, but you do get, I would say a lot of student finance, it's all about how you spend your money and whether it would be enough for you. So I think I can't really give you an answer to that because everyone's different.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Charlotte, just to bring you in as well, does the university have sort of like a standard amount of hours that students should be spending in addition to the hours that they are, you know, on a course for and actually in their lectures doing independent study?
There is, you're putting me on the spot to know how many, because I think it varies course by course a little bit. But what will happen is when you join the course, your academics, your module leaders will sort of introduce you to the course, and they'll give you an expectation of how many hours a week you'll have on the module. In terms of teaching and labs, but then also their expectation about how much is self-study or independent study, and it is very, very high percentage on all the modules of independent and self-study. That is much higher normally than your lectures, and that's to keep on top of readings and additional essays. Some students might have weekly assignments, so quite a lot of that will have to be done as self-study or independent study.
Yeah, and I think the point I was trying to get to, which I probably should have said, is why I brought Charlotte in as well, is if you do feel that you need to work on top, you may get your original timetable and think, oh my goodness, I may have lots of free time in order to do other bits and pieces and get a job. But there is the extra requirement that, you know, you may be in university for a certain amount of hours, but you will have to do extra learning on top of that. So that brings down the time where you can work. It limits it slightly, and the university recommends that you don't work more than 20 hours, between 15 and 20 hours a week on top of your studies, as it may cause some issues. How many words are essays at university in general? Who wants to tackle this? I mean, once again, it's course specific. I mean, you could have some formative essays and that may be only 1,000 words, but your dissertation may be 10,000. Sarah, could you? Is it normally what you've come in contact with the library? Is it normal? I know this is probably a difficult question to answer.
I think you've summed it up. There isn't a standard. It does depend partly if it's formative. So if it's something that's, if it's a piece of work that you're just being asked to submit, so maybe the module leader can get an idea of sort of whereabouts you're at, how confident you are, won't necessarily come with mark. That kind of thing is quite likely to be fairly short, so maybe 100 words. When you get into marked work, so what's termed as formative assessment, it will start creeping up. It very much does depend on subject and by module. So you may find that you're maybe being asked to write a couple of pieces that are 1,000, maybe 3,000 words. There may be a few different pieces of work, so on different subject areas within a module. Another module may possibly have an exam or a practical, and then maybe one big report or project or essay could just be a couple of 1,000 words. So it really does depend. And I would say the range, correct me if I'm wrong, because Charlotte also deals with these kind of things, probably ranges from about 500 up to about, for undergraduates, about 12,000 words. Big range. They will give you that detail on the modules in line with what you've just been told to answer the previous question, though.
Yes, very early on in your course as well, within your module handbook, so you will know. Charlotte, anything to add to that?
I was just going to give a tip, actually, if that's all right, because
of course.
I don't know about anyone else here, but I sometimes struggle remembering which is formative and which is summative. And the way that I remember it is summative has the word sum in it, and that's linked to a mark. So it's normally the easiest way to remember it. If anyone gets confused, summative and formative, it's my little tip for today.
Oh, very, very good. I think a lot of us will take that and borrow that off you, Charlotte. So thank you. Right. If I miss the campus tour on the 20th of September, will there be a repeat tour later in Welcome Week? Christina, help.
Yes, of course I will. Yeah, we have tours running every day from leaving at 11 and 3 every day during Welcome Week. It's just the way that it displays on KU Extra, only displays one per day, and then it'll be added. So yeah, every day during Welcome Week at 11 and 3, and then we'll be offering in Teaching Week 1. So if you don't make it during Welcome Week, Teaching Week 1 will be offering campus tours from at every campus on Tuesday and Thursday. Also 11 and 3.
Brilliant.
No appointments needed, Karina. You don't have to book. But we will have a limit on numbers. So I think we're capping it at 12, and you will need a face mask and comfortable shoes.
Yes, practical footwear.
Yes.
They're going to take you on a little journey. So great, thank you. How can I access Canvas and my university email? Who wants to tackle this? Christina, do you want to take this one again?
Sure. So Canvas is the virtual learning environment, and you can access that through either the university app or just directly on a web browser. I'll pop the link in the chat, but you will only be able to access once you have completed your enrolment. So if you've tried, and the same with your university email. So if you've tried, it may be because your enrolment has not quite been completed yet. If you haven't had that email to say your enrolment's been completed, you won't be able to access Canvas or your university email address quite yet.
Yeah, you get them ready.
I'll pop the links in the chat.
Yep, download. You can still download them onto phone, just you won't be able to log in as yet. Where can I find out info about societies? So on the Union of Kingston Students website, which I showed you earlier, there should be, here we go, a little societies tab at the top, and there you can search all of the different societies that the Union of Kingston Students has under their remit. However, if you don't see a society that you are personally interested in, or you've got a great idea for something new that you think, oh, I think students would love to be part of this group, then there is an option for you to create your own society here, and this little button here will tell you what you need to do. I think you've got to have it's normally between 5 and 10 people that you've got to bring onto your team in order to start it off, but it is a fairly easy process. So more information on here, so definitely go to this. I will post it in the chat as well for you to access, and this is, you don't need your Kingston ID or anything to log in. You can just search the Union of Kingston Students and access it there. Julia, I'm going to bring you in and say, like, how important is it for students to sort of do extra bits to really enrich their time at university? You're on mute, Julia. Sorry.
I'm on mute. So there's a couple of things to mention. The first is that employers are increasingly looking for students who have done things alongside their course, and it does really help you stand out. So, you know, if you're going for a role and lots of the other people are applying, you know, have got the same degree as you, if you can say, well, actually, you know, I've got some really practical skills that I've gained by, I don't know, doing casual work on campus or doing voluntary work, whatever it might be, that can really be helpful. But also the second thing to mention is that we do a lot of research into the impact of students taking part in activities alongside their course. And what we found is that the data shows that students are much more likely to progress if they take part in activities. And just anecdotally, when we talk to students, I remember one of the ambassadors saying to me actually that, you know, she used to be really kind of just focused on, she was a mature student, really focused on coming in and getting a first, which is brilliant. And then she got a part-time job, and what she found was it gave her a better work-life balance. And, you know, she had a bit of money to go out with friends, and that really kind of helped her with her course as well. So I think it's about looking at university as a sort of wider experience, and, you know, trying to get as much out of it as you can for when you leave. And you know, another great thing about taking part in activities is it really helps you to meet other people from outside your course in informal settings, and you know, connect with other people who are interested in things that you're interested in.
Brilliant, great advice, Julia, thank you.
Oh, can I just say, sorry, I just wanted to add a couple of things. Somebody was asking about jobs on campus, and I wanted to say, firstly, we have a really brilliant careers service who offer lots of help getting jobs on campus and from external employers. And also we have an annual part-time jobs fair, which is October, early November, that sort of time, that students can come along to.
Brilliant, great bit that you dropped in there, Julia, thank you. Adam, can I do a 6-month, not me, but can the applicant do a 6-month study abroad and 6-month work placement combined?
You can do, yeah. So if you wanted to do this option, you'd need to complete your year abroad in an additional 3rd year. So that means you'd complete years 1 and 2 at Kingston, then you'd go away in your additional 3rd year, and then you'd come back and complete your degree in what would then be year 4 at Kingston. All we need to do is update Student Finance England if you get a student loan, and they're able to update this for you, so you can still get your maintenance loan while you're overseas. What we tend to find is if lots of students, if they're planning on splitting the year between 2 destinations, they tend to enjoy themselves so much in their first placement that they then ask us, can I just stay on here rather than switching? And that's usually not a problem. As long as we have space at the partner, you can extend your stay. So you do have that option of initially applying to split the year, and then maybe carrying on if we do have space available there. So yeah, you can do both. Just to note that our applications open throughout January every year. So if you did want to study abroad in the additional 3rd year, you wouldn't need to apply to us until January of year 2. So you won't need to do anything until January of year 2, if that's the option you wanted to do. If you wanted to replace your 2nd year, which would mean that you wouldn't have to study, you wouldn't be able to complete a work placement then, that's because you'd need to replace the modules that you would have studied at Kingston. To replace the 2nd year, you would apply to us this coming January, so in January of year 1.
Great. So great advice. It is possible. So yeah, great. Christina, what occurs during the workshops during Welcome Week?
Oh, you've put me on the spot. We have quite a mixture of activities as part of like the Welcome programme. So we have some online sessions which introduce you to lots of different services and opportunities for you to get involved. I'm going to quickly go and have a look so I can remind myself. But we have introduction to well-being. We have study abroad. So Adam's doing a session for us. We have
there's sessions for international students.
Thank you. I'm just trying to get the page up really quickly. Here we go. Right. We've got some academic success sessions, so sessions on digital skills, study skills, writing and speaking skills. We've got sessions that are around kind of more than just a degree. So we've got a session on Earn While You Learn. So the careers team will do some work based on what Julia said on finding part-time work alongside your studies. Tardu and Dwayne will be doing sessions on being your own boss. We've got some information about the power of student voice and kind of how to find out how to become a course rep and get involved in bringing your voice to the university. We're doing some stuff on sustainability. We've got how to be clever with your cash. So Marette's going to be doing a session for us on managing your money. And then we have some kind of more fun, kind of just for fun activities. We have, we're doing speed friending. We are running a Harry Potter walking tour. So if you're a bit of a Potterhead, join us for that.
Taskmaster.
we're doing Taskmaster face to face. So if you've been to Taskmaster during Head Start, it'll be an opportunity to get a bit more messy than we normally do on the online version. We've got student ambassador Q&A. So if you've got questions and you want to talk to current students, we've got like sports tasters, and then the freshers activity that the union run, which is a whole load of other stuff that Hannah showed you earlier.
So yeah, lots to choose from. So yeah, go and plan your week in what fits around your.
I'll drop a link into KU Extra, which is our online events platform, which has everything in it.
That's brilliant, thank you. So yeah, I should assume that most of those will be, some of them informative, some that require a bit more participation. So yeah, lots to get involved with. Enjoy. How can I use my time at uni to make me more employable? I'm going to ask Julia.
So yeah, we touched on some of the benefits of doing things alongside your course, and I think that really does make you more employable. But what I would say is to reach out to the careers team, and because they have loads of, the idea with the careers team is they can help you with all of the stages of your journey to becoming employable, whether it's kind of, you're not really sure what you want to do, or you've got, you're trying to figure out what your options are. You might be wanting to find professional services, or, you might have a particular role that you want to apply for, or, to go on to postgrad study. They've got loads of one-to-one sessions that they can talk you through the options available to you. They have lots and lots of online resources in a great platform called Career Zone. They have, I meant to mention it before actually, they've got a jobs board called Handshake, where you can find things like internships, placements, loads of employer events where they get employers to come along who are looking for graduates, or people to employ while they're studying. Yeah, one-to-one support. They've got a streams channel with loads of videos of employer sessions. So, that would be my main place to signpost you to, is to contact them. And I'll drop the email in chat. I mean, obviously, they might not be able to respond immediately, or maybe until you're a student even. But I think, it's just careers@kingston.ac.uk. It's very easy to remember.
Julia, I was going to ask you as well, because this might be also a good opportunity. I know it's not available to first year students, but we've got Beyond Barriers mentoring as well, to get linked with maybe a professional or someone from the career that they want to embark on, which may be able to give them more tips, on what they probably need to do over their university degree. Would that sort of be helpful as well?
Definitely. Thank you for reminding me. So yeah, so students can apply once they've got past their first year. They can apply to be paired with an external mentor, and they meet with them either online or face-to-face for 6 months and talk through goals that the student wants to try and achieve. And then the mentor's there as a really impartial person. I think that's really crucial. They're not connected to your course, they're not family or friends, they're somebody who really wants to help, but is impartial and will listen and support and encourage you to meet your goals. So yeah, that's called Beyond Barriers mentoring.
Brilliant, thank you, Julia. And there is a little video on the Head Start online platform, just giving you a roundup of the areas that Julia's team sort of cover. And there is a little video about Beyond Barriers to explain it for you in a bit more detail. I would like to know if lectures will be online or face-to-face. A very good question, and something which is so relevant to, starting university. So I don't know, Christina, if you want to answer this, or you want me to say a little bit about the timetables and where you can see if your lectures will be online or face-to-face.
It depends on your course. Most courses will have a blend. So you will have some that will be on campus and some that will be online. As Hannah said, you should be able to see that as you once you complete enrolment, 48 hours after you've completed enrolment, you should start to be able to see your timetable, so your teaching timetable, which will show you what sessions are online and which sessions are on campus. So it should be very clear, and it should say this is an on campus session, or it will give you the room, or it will give you it will tell you it's an online event.
Brilliant, thank you. Who do I contact about DBS certificates for pharmacy students? It's quite urgent.
I'll put a link in the chat, an email address in the chat.
Brilliant, thank you, Christina. So yeah, whoever asked this question, just make sure that you can see the chat for the email address. Today, one question for you. I have a side hustle which I want to keep going while I study. You've mentioned that incubation space. Is there any other support available?
Hi, I can't see myself on the screen, but I'm sure you can see me.
I can see you.
Yes, we do have office space available, but because you're already a student, I don't think that would be much useful to you, because you already have access to the facilities that we provide. So for instance, printing facilities, using the business school as your office space and all of that, you have access to that as a student. So I don't know how that would help. That's mostly for graduates that obviously still need somewhere to work from, and they don't want to have to pay that extra. But we can actually offer you, again, the mentoring. So if you wanted that support, but you'd have to go through what we call a fast track program, where we actually validate your business idea, or if it's already a business, and just make sure that it's actually commercial before we link you to, you know, whatever it is. So what I would advise is I will put in a link to our mailing list, and all you have to do is just sign an interest form, and we'll let you know obviously what the next steps are. We'll have to meet with you and hear a little bit about your business, and just see how we can actually support you through, you know, as you're in university. And then when you finish, we take it from there if you needed any more support. So yeah.
Brilliant, thank you for that. So yeah, if this is your question, have a look in the chat for how to reach out to the team for more help with that. Which department is in charge for the Oyster approval scheme, please? I'm not sure. Anybody here know the answer to this? Correct?
Yeah, it's done by, well, it used to be done by what used to be called FRAP, but now they're part of Information. Sorry, I can't remember their name.
The Information Centre.
Yeah, they're part of the Information Centre, so they would be doing the approvals for the Oyster cards. That job sits with them, but they can only do it once you have enrolled. They won't be able to do it prior to enrolment.
So you're saying that's something for them to do, for people to reach out during Welcome Week if they want to do that?
Yeah, after they have really enrolled, because they can't do it pre-enrollment.
Oh, brilliant. And Sarah's posted a link in the chat for Oyster card info once you have enrolled. So thank you, Sarah, for that information. Should I enroll before or after I receive my student visa? What is recommended? Rebecca? Rebecca, are you there?
I am here. Yeah. So should I enroll before or after I receive my student visa? I mean, I would recommend that you complete online enrolment. It does depend on which faculty you're studying in, but if you complete online enrolment, then you'll be able to access the Canvas module, and you'll be able to sort of learn valuable, interesting things before you actually arrive. So you can enroll before you receive your visa. That's absolutely fine. And then once you get your visa, we just need you to upload a copy of it into OSIS just to show that you have that.
Great. Okay, so go ahead with online enrolment then. If I have any questions on campus, where where do I go for help? God, this is quite an open-ended question here. We could go to several places.
You want me to pick it up?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, definitely.
Christina, I'm happy for you to follow me as well. The university is just launching information centre. There's an information centre on each campus. The main ones are at Penning Road and Kingston Hill within the library there. So at Kingston Hill, go into the main entrance of the library. It's on the ground floor, you can ask there. If you are at Penning Road, if you go into the townhouse, straight up the large set of stairs that you'll see in front of you, and the information centre is ahead of you on the first floor. The Roehampton Vale and Knights Park libraries are very, very small. So you'll just see a small desk when you go into that space. And there are staff from student services and from customer services team who will be there to welcome you and to try and answer any general queries that you've got. That's for general university queries. If you have faculty specific queries, there are other routes, and I can see Andrew's got his hand up, and I'm guessing he may be able to move on to that now.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
thank you, Sarah. Go for it, Andrew. Welcome back.
Hi there. Yeah, me and Sarah, I think along the same lines. I was thinking if it's some subject-specific questions, faculty offices, so they're located on the campuses anyway. And also do check your KU emails and Canvas pages and OSIS as well, because you might find some of those questions that you've got are already answered on the information that you've already got. So particularly during Welcome Week, for example, you have a lot of information coming through, and it's worth just trying to sift through. Particularly things like, where's my timetable, not sure where a particular room is, things like that. A lot of that stuff will actually, timetable stuff will be already available to you. But yeah, you've got your information centres and you've also got your student offices as well. So I hope that helps.
Brilliant, it really does. Thank you. Christina, anything you want to add in terms of, say, for example, Welcome Week, are there going to be any ambassadors around just to help out during that first week of university?
Yep, so we'll have welcome help points on every campus. You can find information about those on the website. I will link to that in a second. So that's staffed by student ambassadors. But as Sarah says, the information centres on each campus are a really great place to go to if you're stuck and you're not sure where to start, because they've got very good knowledge of lots of things across the university.
Great, thank you. So you won't be on your own. Got a question? Lots of places for you to go and ask those questions and find out the information. When will we be able to do our second step of enrolling at university? Christina?
There shouldn't be a second step. So there's only one step that you have to take if you are a home student. And I'm going to let Rebecca talk a little bit about some of the extra requirements that there might be for some international students. But yeah, if you've completed your online enrolment, there is a step that the university takes where we basically check the photos that you've uploaded against the your passport or your identity documents. We do a check and then you're made a current student. So there isn't any extra steps for you to do. But I'll let Rebecca talk a little bit more about some of the additional steps there is for some international students.
Yeah, thank you, Christina. So just to sort of add on to that, international students, we do, as part of sort of the enrolment process, we need to check your visa documents and your biometrics residence permit. But don't worry, we will be emailing you with instructions about what you need to do and where you need to go once you've arrived at the university on campus. So we will guide you through that process.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca and Christina, for that one. I missed the webinar on KU Cares. Is there any info or on-demand content about that support service? Beth, can you help with this one?
And indeed, I was hoping I'd get a question. I've just been eating flapjacks through this session so far. Yeah, so we have some content online on the Head Start, and I know Hannah's going to sort of show you that later. So it's under the kind of access support and then specific support. So we've uploaded some content. And there's also our KU Cares web pages, which can be found on the general Kingston website. I can pop those in the chat, and that has more information about like the eligibility criteria, the support available. It's got the application form, and it's also got our contact details. So if you do think you meet the criteria for support and you haven't got in touch with us yet, drop us an email. There's myself and my colleague Lydia, so we'll both be keeping an eye on the inbox, and we're reasonably quick at getting back to people. So definitely get in touch. Yeah.
Would you mind just popping the KU Cares email into the chat for me now? Thanks, Beth. Great. So, you know, Beth and Lydia did hold a live session, but that wasn't recorded. So that information won't be available. But as Beth said, there will be, there is other information on the Head Start Online platform that you can access, and then the email address to reach out to them directly. What happens when you join a society, and when do we attend, and how do they work? So, I would say, first of all, a great way to find out about what societies you may be interested in joining is to attend the Freshers event that is taking place. Now, Christina, just remind me, do you know when the Freshers Fair is what day it's held?
It's Wednesday and Thursday of Welcome Week. I'm just going to remind myself the date. That's the 22nd and 23rd of September at both Penryn Road and Kingston Hill on both days.
Oh, amazing. God, they're doing both of them together. Incredible. So my first advice would be, make sure you go to the Freshers Fair if you can. There you will find out lots of information about this, how you can get involved, the different sports and societies that are available to you as part of the Union of Kingston Students. Most of those sessions, whether it's a sports club that you're interested in taking part in, or you want to join a society, many of them offer taster sessions during the first couple of weeks of the new term, and that's your opportunity then to go and sort of get a taste about what that society or sport is like. You get to try something out to see whether you enjoy it, and it's something that you want to continue on during your time at Kingston University. There's no limit to how many sports or societies that you can join, but just bear in mind to keep you know, making sure that, you know, once you get your timetable and you've worked out how many hours you need to do for your independent study, that you've got the time to dedicate to those. So maybe don't join too many. You can change them throughout the year as well, so you can join different bits and pieces. Christina's just shared a link, the A to Z of societies that you can join, and then once you decide that you want to commit to a sports or society, you will have to pay a small fee in order to join. I believe a society, it's around the £5 mark. However, joining a sports club, you will have to buy a special insurance card, which is around £50, and that makes sure that if you have an accident, that you can get the medical and care that you need if something goes wrong, and also then they'll require like a £5 joining, around £5 joining fee as well. Karina's just asked in the chat, is the payment for societies monthly or just a one-off? It's a one-off, but you pay it annually. So in year one you would just pay the £5, and then if you still wanted to continue with that society, you'd pay another £5 to join. And with sports club memberships, you have to buy an insurance, a sports card with the insurance every year. Okay, so factor that in. Hopefully that's explained it. That was a very long-winded response, sorry. Do a lot of students go to the Bentel Centre during uni? I would say so. It's the main hub of Kingston. It's got loads of shops in it. Would anybody else agree?
I'm not sure. only if you've got the money to spend, right? There you are. Look, Karina said she went there last week.
Yeah.
But I would say the Union do have a shop in Kingston, just around the corner from the Bentel Centre, called Not My Beautiful House, and it's a place where students and graduates of Kingston and people who work in the community can sell their products. There's an exhibition space there. So it's quite new as well, so it's quite nice just to hang out and go and see what there is, and that's very close to the Bentel Centre.
Yeah, Kingston's it's a lovely town centre in Kingston. You've got you know, a real range of shops for all of your needs. Some are quite high end and some are very much more affordable. So there's something for everything. I think a student favourite as well is Tiger in Kingston. So yeah, check it out. How can we join enrichment and employability workshops in relation to our course? Julia, is this maybe a KU Extra question?
Hi, so yeah, a couple of things to say. Firstly, many of our courses have lots of employability kind of embedded into them. That might be sessions that the Careers Service run, or it might be kind of live briefs where, you know, you're working with an external organisation and the organisation gives you a brief and you, as part of your course, produce some work in relation to that brief. And then in terms of workshops in relation to your course, I think it would just be a question of either looking on KU Extra, which we've put a link in the chat to already, I think, haven't we? Yes, we have, to see which things related to your course, and also have a look on My Kingston. Once you enrol, there is a student intranet called My Kingston, and there's a drop down, a university drop down, which has loads of other kind of opportunities. So they're not activities or events, but they are other opportunities that you could have a look at and just see which relate to your course. I mean, I would say that a lot of them would relate to a lot of courses. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. If you want to say what course you're on, whoever asked that question, we can fish out some more specific information.
Thank you, Julia. Andrew, you've got your hand up.
Yep, some of them might also be embedded in your course program. They might actually be timetabled through the Careers and Employability team, but it will, you know, like Julia said, depend upon the course as well. So keep your eye on your timetables throughout the year as well, because they can change, you know, rooms or, you know, etc. So keep your eye out for those and make the most of them as well. It can be really good for networking opportunities, potentially, you know, work experience and things like that. So top tip there.
Brilliant, thank you. Tadu, I'm going to bring you in as well on this question. Do you run any sort of, I believe Dwayne used to do sort of events about enterprise workshops during term time. Is this still the case?
Yes, yeah, he still does run those workshops, and basically what they are is they just help students in developing their business skills. So how to sell your idea, how to make sales, how to, oh gosh, I'm trying to pitch his workshops now. I'm not sure I can do it justice, but yeah, so basically how to sell your idea, how to, gosh, I'm going to butcher it. So basically he still runs the workshops and they will help you with your finance side of your business, how to sell it to your customers, how to brand yourself and your business, and basically how to reach out to your target customer. So those run, I think he has about 4 sessions in the academic year, and it's four sessions of one session, I guess, if that makes sense, and they're repeat. So if you attend one, maybe a branding session in the first term and you were not able to attend the other 3, you can always attend them in the second academic year. So yeah, in the second academic semester. So yeah, so he's still running those.
Brilliant. And how do students tend to find out about them?
If you sign up to the mailing list, again, I did put the link in the chat, but I'll probably pop it in there again. So we do update when they're on, when the next session is and all of that. So if you just sign up to the mailing list, you should be able to get all that information from us. It's funny
brilliant.
because I'm the one that gives out all this information, and
I put you on the spot. You know, there's too much pressure sometimes in this forum. But thanks to Dee. Yes, just pop the chat in again in the chat. That would be helpful. I did get a direct message to me from Mercy, who's asked, will nursing students get a uniform from the university? Absolutely, yes, you will. There will be it will be part of your induction schedule. More information will be given probably in your course introduction during Welcome Week. Normally, nursing students will get given 2 uniforms, which you don't have to pay for. However, if you require additional uniforms, then there will be a charge. And we actually talk about it a bit more in detail on the health, social care and education live faculty session that we held during, I believe it was week 4 of the Head Start programme, which I've recorded. So you should be able to catch up and rewatch that to get all the information about the HSCE faculty. And that's on the Head Start online platform. Next question is, how do I access Head Start meetings that I have missed? Great question. So you would need to log on to the Head Start online platform, which you should have already been given a link to in order to take part in that session. I'm just going to try and load it up now while we're here, but it may not cooperate with me, because when you share your screen, it gets a little bit slow. So you've given a link, you'll be taken in, you need to log in with your email address and asked to set up a password, or if you've already set up your account, you just type in the password that you have set up. Christina, hopefully, if you possible, can you post a link to the online platform as well in the chat box? That would be great. Once you log in, this is the screen that it will take you to. And you will be confronted by lots of different tabs. The live schedule is where you could join some of the sessions. That won't be needed from going forward. However, any new content that has been uploaded, just click on the What's New section, and you've got access to videos. If there's a live session that takes place, it's labelled as a live session, so that you can watch some of those recordings there. You've also got documents as well for various bits and pieces that you can access and have a look at in your own time. And then any information that's been added in the previous weeks of Head Start that maybe isn't new content, you can then look in some of these various other tabs here for more presentations, documents, etc., etc. So yeah, that's how you access all of that information. When and how do we get our ID? I think they're talking about the university ID, Christina.
And I'm assuming you mean the ID card. So once you've completed your enrolment and you've had an email confirmation to let you know that you're now a current student, you will be sent an email to ask you to book an appointment to collect your ID card on campus.
Brilliant, thank you. And where normally are those IDs going to be held? Is there a location?
In the first couple of weeks, it will be in the Townhouse Library at Kingston, at Pennon Road, and at the Nightingale Centre, which is the library at Kingston Hill.
Brilliant, thank you. What should we do on days off? Oh my goodness. Jenna, I'm going to come to you and maybe say, you know, what would your advice be when students are not studying, and maybe to a bit of self-care?
Hi there, everyone. So it's a good question, actually, to try and think about that you will actually have that time to yourself, rather than not sort of studying being all the time and every minute of every day. And so self-care is really important, and it comes in many different forms for everybody. And that can simply be time to yourself, or it could be time with loved ones, whether that's actually seeing them in person or, you know, on the phone. It could be doing things that you enjoy, such as a hobby or an activity. It could simply be kind of sitting down in a quiet space, being in nature, going for a walk, going for a run, being active. So it's very, very personal, but I think very, very important that you do have those days away from university, not only physically, but also kind of in your mind as well, that you're away and you're doing something separate, because it helps sort of refresh and re-energize you, sort of go back to lectures and back to study. So yeah, lots of different sort of ideas, and obviously we've been talking throughout this call about societies and different clubs and stuff, which will also be, even though it's sort of university based, will give you sort of a different take on things to do. So there's a variety of different options.
Great, thank you, Jenna. I think some really good advice there about making sure that, you know, studying is important, of course, but so is also taking a break, because lots of students, I feel, you feel the pressure that we're in university, you've got to do everything all together and you can't take a break, but it's a really important element.
It is really important. I mean, one thing, sorry, I would add is that you're going to be entering a world in which you're going to be working, which obviously, you know, looks very different for lots of people. Obviously, we've talked about entrepreneurship but obviously it's still going to be recommended that you take holidays, and whether that be go away or if you're even just at home. And so it shouldn't really be any different for being at university. There needs to be time in which you know, breaks happen, not only kind of while you're working, but also days off and sort of hours off as well, just in order to recharge. We're not robots. So
no, absolutely.
You need to have that time out as well. It's just as important.
Thank you, Jenna. Charlotte, I'm going to come to you as well. Can you explain a little bit about reading week and what, because, you know, like you have lectures, but there is a gap normally with most people's timetables where you've got an opportunity to sort of catch up and reflect and those sort of things. Is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it does depend on the course itself. Let me put my camera on. Hopefully my internet won't crash. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it depends. I think, yeah, I mean, as you said, there's not really much more to say. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, sorry.
That's fine. So yes, reading week, use that opportunity. You'll be noted in your timetable. That's a good opportunity to have a break from work or catch up as well, you know, during your studies. So you can also count that as a time to catch up. What campus is the careers team based in, if I want to meet them face to face if possible? Who's the best person to ask for this one? I think they're normally in both at Penryn Road, and they do drop-ins as well at Kingston Hill and the other campuses. Julia?
They do. So they're based, the main office is at Penryn Road in the John Galsworthy building, but they do have a presence on every campus actually. And they've been doing lots of stuff online over the last year. Christina, do you know if they're going back to face-to-face? I'm not quite sure.
I think they will be offering some face-to-face, but they do have a way that you could book an appointment. So I would advise that you probably don't just rock up unless they're advertising a specific drop-in. But you should be able to book an appointment to meet face-to-face if that's your preferred kind of delivery.
Great, thank you. Do we have to work and earn if we live at home? So Moret, question for you. If you say we're talking about student finance, for example, you know, if the students live at home, is their student finance reduced as a result? Moret, are you there? If so, you're on mute. There you go.
Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Sorry, I've had to just pop out to get something. Okay, so I'm just going into a quiet area. So what was the question again? Do you mind repeating?
Of course. So we had a question saying, do we have to work and earn if we live at home? My question sort of to bring you in is more like, if they're taking out student finance and they live at home, does that have an impact on the money that they receive?
Yes, it does. So if you're living at home, you get less money than if you're living away from home. I don't necessarily agree with the rules, but it is that is the rule. So the maximum you can get if you're living at home is around £7,500, as opposed to 12,300 if you're living away from home. So I think the idea there is student finance think if you're living at home, you're going to have less living costs than if you're living away from home. Now, of course, that might not be the case because everybody's home situation is different and everybody's arrangements with parents in terms of what they can give or not give and what they're expected is different. So I would say it really depends on the household. And I would say if you're living at home, one of the key things that you need to do before you start your course is have a conversation with your parents around expectations, and so you have some understanding of what your money situation is going to be. Does that help?
Yes, it does massively. Thank you, Mirette. So yes, you will have less money if you receive less money if you apply for a student finance. So it's really down to you, but you may be saving on other costs like you know, paying higher rent costs and you know, other expenses that you may not have to pay if you were living near the university. So that really, once again, is a very personal question to your own situation. Do many students get into post-grad medicine after graduating from Kingston with a science-related degree? I'm unsure of of answering this question. I don't feel, unless anybody here, this is not something that I feel we could answer here, but maybe Christina.
I can't answer the numbers, but I can say that I know that the careers team do support with applying to medicine courses post-graduation. So there is certainly support to help you, but I can't give you numbers of whether many people get onto those courses. I don't know, but that is certainly a conversation you could or should have with the careers team. They will be able to look at. There's a survey that graduates complete around their career destinations and their outcomes. So they will have some information about Kingston students from several years ago that they may be able to have a look at for you if that's something you approach for them to them.
Great, thank you, Christina. Charlotte, did you want to add something to that?
Sorry, I can't raise my hand on the reactions button. I don't have that button. So just to say, you can speak to your academics as well. So during Welcome, you're going to have a course induction. You'll get to meet your academic team. So you can ask them, you know, what the students go on to after I've completed my degree. They may even have included that in their induction. I know some of them will do that. But yeah, you can ask them as well as the careers team.
Okay, great. So it is an option there. How much do you pay to join a society? I think I've covered this in an earlier question. So it's around £5, I think. They may, I don't know, it hasn't, if it's changed, it will change this year, but that is normally what it has been in the past. But you will find out if you attend Freshers Week, Freshers Fair.
Yeah, Hannah, just to confirm, in the Getting Kingston Ready session, the union covered that is between £3 to £5, depending on the society.
Brilliant, thank you. How do you go about uncertainty such as internet failure, and how do you explain that to your lecturers if you miss an online class? Andrew, can you help with this one?
Yeah, I'll see if I can. First of all, the explain to lecturers if you're missing a class. I mean, it depends if it's online or face-to-face, but I think that there's two ways. If you know you're going to miss something for various different reasons, you can let the check-in team know, and they can actually log that for you. But also you can just ping a message to your lecturer and just say, going to be running a little bit late, or I'm going to miss this class, just as a courtesy email really. And there should be materials that you can catch up with on Canvas. If it's going to be long term, if you're not well and you know you're going to be away for a couple of weeks, for example, then again, let the check-in team know, and also your course team, your personal tutor, just so you can touch base with them, keep them updated, and it could be that they can keep you updated on some course ideas as well. But also, you know, if you need some more long-term support, it's just a useful point of contact for you. The issue about internet failure can be a bit more tricky to answer. Keep your eyes open for information on My Kingston and also KU emails, just in case there's things like bursaries available or other support. if you're having trouble with Wi-Fi and what have you at home. And also it could be an IT-based question. It could be that you drop a line to the IT team, and they might be able to help you out as well, perhaps remote into your laptop or your PC with your agreement, obviously, and see if they can, do a fix there with you as well.
Brilliant, thank you, Andrew. I'll come to you in a moment, Christina. Andrew, just to add to that, if, say, for example, a student was submitting a piece of coursework or an assessment online, and they encountered an issue with actually submitting their work by the deadline, what's the policy around that? It's very difficult to prove, I should imagine.
Yeah, I think one of the things to do, if possible, try and avoid that situation in the first place. Say you've got a deadline of midnight or 2 in the afternoon or something, bearing in mind there'll be a lot of traffic, internet traffic there, so it could be delayed, or it might it's best to try and avoid the problem. So get your work in sooner rather than later, so you avoid that kind of problem. Obviously, illnesses and things happen, and there could be, internet failure and things. There is the extensions and mitigating circumstances process, but I think it's better to wait until you've actually started your course to actually find out more about that, as and when. But it's not like it would have been at school or college, and I know appreciate a lot of you aren't coming from school or college either, but it's not just a case of, can I hand it in tomorrow? There are official procedures for you to actually go through in terms of handing work in, and looking for extensions or missed assessments. But if you're really not well, it's really important that you look after your own well-being, and sometimes these things happen and there are procedures in place to try and help you. So I'm kind of sketching around the question a little bit, because it's better for you just to wait until you're actually on your course, and then you can actually access the the policies there and get the relevant advice from the right people. Is that okay?
That's perfect, thank you, Andrew. And with that, I'm going to pass on to Christina, because I think she's going to talk to you about some of the support available.
Yeah, so Andrew mentioned, I don't know, you may have stuff internet, or you might not have the right device. So we do have a digital support scheme which offers a long-term laptop loan, so that's for the duration of your course, and a £150 Wi-Fi bursary if you need support with connectivity. There are some eligibility criteria, but I will pop the link in the chat if you'd like to have a look and apply.
Great. Thank you. Megan, is the internet at Hall strong, and is it okay if you have multiple devices connected to the internet?
Quite a tricky one. I think definitely the Hall's internet will be strong enough, definitely, especially for your course, because obviously it is for educational purposes. But yes, having kind of your phone or your iPad or your laptop connected, that should be all fine. I know obviously there's always going to be outages no matter where you go. So they will contact you as soon as that happens, but that's very, very rarely happens. So yeah, they're definitely very good at that. And also if it's not an internet issue, you can contact the IT team regarding internet with your laptop or connection. But yeah, I would definitely say so. I lived in Halls when I was a student and I didn't have any problems. So I think, yeah, that's kind of the best answer, I think, because it's kind of subjective, I think. So if there's anyone else that kind of wants to add to that, feel free.
Great. Thank you. I think that's answered that question pretty well. Thank you, Megan. Do you have to attend societies once you join? No, it's totally voluntary. If you can't make some weeks, don't worry about it. It's as long as you've paid your fees, you can sort of pick it up and leave it as you go. But if you're doing a sports, for example, if you want to get better and you want to learn, then obviously, you'd want to go as often as possible. So yeah, it's really down to you. Do journalism and media students have theatre lectures? Also, what is the overall class strength? So this is a very specific course related question. Most courses will have official lectures that may take place in large lecture theatres. You will be able to see that once you have access to your timetable of what lectures you will have or seminars. So yes, I would say the answer to that question is you will do. In terms of the overall class strength, I'm unable to answer that question because I don't know how many people that have admitted onto that course. But we do have a student ambassador. Her name is Melissa. And if you go to the Head Start online platform, you'll be able to go to the option where I showed you earlier, that chat to us button, which will take you onto this page here. There you go. Melissa, journalism. She's not doing a dual subject like the applicant that asked that question, but she may be able to give you more detailed information about journalism as a whole, and some bit of information in detail about that question that you have asked. So message her and see what she says. Next question. I am in the preparatory course. What percentage can I enter the MA course? Once again, a very difficult question. I can't, maybe not difficult, but maybe a bit harder to answer in this session without knowing some information, background information about that. So maybe email the headstart@kingston.ac.uk notice board and give us a bit more specific information about that. Andrew?
I think that might even be covered in your induction as well, particularly if you're starting on a foundation course or a bachelor's course, then it might actually be covered in your induction anyway.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. So yeah, definitely bring that up during Welcome Week. Is the gym in the university free for students, or do I need to pay a monthly fee for joining? Jenna, I know that, do you have any insight on this at all? I think there is a fee that you have to pay, and it is a monthly fee.
I think so, yeah. I was worried you were going to ask me this, but it's a good question, and it definitely does fall under wellbeing. But I don't know the answer. But I would imagine, I'm pretty sure that there is a monthly fee, and Christina's just put a link to the information about the gym, that it's based at Penryn Road, so you can have a look there and see what their prices are.
They have different packages, so depending what time of day you go, if you want to be able to go during peak hours, it's a bit more expensive. Whereas if you want to go out of kind of peak hours, you can go for a cheaper package.
Exactly. Thank you both of you. But also the university gym is much cheaper the membership than maybe some of the commercial names that you may see on the high street. So do check it out and see, and the facilities that they have are very good, and they're on campus as well, so easy access as well. So definitely check it out, and they normally have some information during Freshers Fair, there's Freshers Fair as well, about that. Right, I'm just going to see, I've got one final question here which we're going to answer before I close everything today. And how do I get help if you feel like your mental health is getting really bad? So Jenna, I'm gonna come to you with this one.
Yeah, of course. So there's a number of different avenues in which we can support you. It can often be sort of quite a scary place to be, so do know that obviously there are a number of different departments that can help. First of all, I will say, sort of outside of the university, that to make sure that your GP is aware of your current mental health, so whether that's the GP that you're going to register with at Fairhill Medical Practice on campus, or your own sort of at-home GP, because they are sort of the primarily responsible for your well-being. In regards to university, we're absolutely here to support you, and we have a number of ways of doing that. Andrew mentioned earlier about the mental health team. So we have a mental health and disability team where if you do have a diagnosed mental health condition, you can register with that team. That team will then put together what they call a summary of support needs, where they'll liaise with your course and with your faculty to ensure sure that you have everything you need in order to do the best that you can on your course and within your studies. So those types of things are called reasonable adjustments, and they can be things such as sort of down to kind of where you might sit in a classroom, to sort of looking at deadlines and what you know, sort of different software and devices that you might need that might help with various different conditions. If you don't have a registered and diagnosed mental health condition, then you can still receive support. There's you know, no problem with that, and that can either be from our team, from counselling and wellbeing, or still from the mental health team as well can support you. And we offer a range of different services. You'll be able to see the different types of appointments that we offer listed on My Kingston in the Student Wellbeing Hub, but they include counselling. So we offer up to 6 sessions of focused counselling, and you get 6 sessions every academic year that you're with us at Kingston. And if you don't feel that counselling is for you, we also offer what we call sort of informal listening sessions, where if you just feel you need to have a chat with somebody, the stress and time management sessions that I mentioned earlier. And we also offer kind of regular short drop-in sessions. So if you just feel like you have a quick question or something on your mind that you're not able to make a decision of, then obviously you can use that. But yeah, do if you're starting to get those kind of warning signs that your mental health is suffering, please do reach out. And even if you initially don't want to come to our department, you can talk to your personal tutor. They can always make a referral to us, and we can reach out to you that way. So there are many ways in which we can support.
That's great. Thank you so much, Jenna, for answering. And there is lots of information on the Head Start online platform about that in particular topic. Now, we've come to the end of you know, those questions that we've asked. We've answered everything that you've submitted today. Now, I want to part this session. I'm going to drop the staff that have joined us on this panel sort of in it a little bit, and I'm going to go round each of them. And I want them to give you all a top tip, you know, that you can take with you as a bit of advice for maybe university in general, maybe for something to do with the first couple of weeks of university, just a bit of advice. So I'm going to go round, and you know what? I'm going to go to my colleague Christina. Actually, you can be the first one.
I've already done this for another thing, so I'm going to recycle the same one. So hopefully you haven't heard it before. I would just say, don't put too much pressure on yourself to like have to learn everything in the first week. You've got so much time to figure out how stuff works. So don't put all the pressure on yourself to think that you should know everything in the first week.
Great. Thank you, Christina. Next up, I'm going to go to Marette. We'll come back to Marette. I'm going to go to Andrew next then.
Yeah, I think it's really important to ask. Even if you're not quite sure or a bit nervous about it, just ask people for some help, or just run a query past them. It's much better to do that, be it an academic question, health question, etc. Yeah, just make the most of the information support here.
Great, thank you, Andrew. Marette, you're back with us now. Your top tip.
Which is, I think, following on from Andrew's, is that if you need help, ask for it. Like, that's my major issue. If there's money of help around be your finances, be it any aspect, and really just make the use of university services as much as you possibly can, because they're amazing and they're there for you. So I really would say it's just making use of the services that are around.
Brilliant, thank you, Marette. Today, what's your one?
I feel like I'm just going to mirror what everyone is saying already. And it's really just to use all the support that's there. And I'm a recent graduate myself. And now I work for the university, obviously, and I feel like I've learned so much that the university actually offers that I didn't know as a student. And I say this to Julia as well about the Kingston Awards. I wish I knew about that when I was a student. I heard about it, but I never took it serious. So just try and look out at what's actually in the university. There's literally so much. You can take a second language if you wanted, and it's free. And there's literally so much that you can do in the university that is actually free because you're a student. So just look out for what's actually out there outside of your course, and you'll be surprised what you can actually learn by the end of the year. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for that contribution. Next up, Julia.
I would say try and make the most of meeting all the different types of people that you are going to be on your course, and you know, the other things that you're doing at university, because I think that's one of the brilliant things about university is that you do come into contact with loads of different types of people, and yeah, just to keep an open mind. And you know, everybody's going to be nervous and a bit shy at the beginning, but yeah, definitely reach out to people around you and make friends.
Great advice there. Thank you, Julia. Rebecca, on to you.
Oh, thanks, Hannah. I would say just for international students who are sort of viewing this now, that you may experience some culture shock when you arrive, and just to say that it's completely normal and understandable. But there's lots of support services, and there'll be lots of students coming from all over the world who'll be joining the university and experiencing UK life and culture for the first time. I would sort of reiterate, try and get involved in clubs and societies, because that's a great way of making friends. It's a great way of learning about UK life and culture, and it's a really good way to integrate into your new life here in the UK. So that would be my top tip, really. Don't worry, you will experience some culture shock, but there's lots that you can do that will keep you busy and happy while you're studying with us.
Great advice. Thank you, Rebecca. Beth, I'm coming on to you now.
Feels like when you're in class and they're asking you to read out the book. You're
Oh,
sitting
sorry.
there like, no, it's fine. My top tip would be, if you feel like you're struggling, or you're the only one that is feels like that you don't have it together, you don't know what's going on, I can assure you with 1,000,000% certainty that you're not. Like, most students are confused, stressed, might be struggling. And sometimes people hide that really well. Even staff are struggling. We're confused, we're stressed. So if you feel like you're the only one going through something and you don't want to ask for help because of that, just remind yourself that you're probably about 3 feet away from someone who is feeling exactly the same way. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because you won't be looked down on. It won't doubt your place at university. You deserve to be here just as much as anyone else. Yeah.
Great, thank you, Beth. Wise words there. Adam.
Hello. Yeah, I'm going to mirror most of that and say that just remember, everybody, that most people are in exactly the same boat as you. So everybody's having to settle into a new place and meet new friends. Never be afraid to ask any questions, because you'll probably find that most people are grateful that you asked the question about the same thing that they were wondering. The other thing I'd say is, one thing I notice sometimes is we can sometimes let students know what the processes are on certain things, and then a rumour might start among the students that might differ from what we've advised. So I would say that if you find that you hear from your friend, if the advice that you, on a specific university process or on a deadline for one of your assignments or something, if what you hear from your friend differs to what you've heard from your tutor would probably be telling you the correct information. So I would always go with, when it comes to the university processes, I would always listen to the university members of staff. Obviously, when it comes to your personal life, then no one can tell you what to do. But with the university processes, it's probably going to be more accurate what the university staff tell you, rather than what you hear outside of, among your peers.
Yep, totally mirror that. Thank you, Adam, for that. Jenna, you're up next.
So I was going to say everything that everyone was saying. As it got closer to me, I was like, okay, can't have that one, can't have that one. But one thing I was thinking about was, I suppose, just how much information we're already giving. And also life doesn't stop just because your university experience is going to start. So there's already probably lots of things that you're juggling and you're balancing and you're doing, as well as now entering the world of being a student. So my advice would be to pause at some point and try and do that regularly, and take a breath and check in with yourself if you need to slow anything down, whether that be you know, how hard you're working or socializing or the pressure that you're putting on yourself or whatever that may be, and just sort of yeah, just give yourself a bit of a pat on the back that you're here and you're trying. And yeah, so that would be my advice.
Great, thank you so much, Jenna. Sarah.
I hate being towards the end of these.
I know, sorry.
Asking is the most important thing. I suppose my angle on it is just remember the people here want to be asked questions. That's the main part of most of our jobs. So don't feel it's easy to feel intimidated, but that is the reason the majority of us are here, to be supportive and to try and answer those questions. I suppose the other tack is, if you've got a question, ask it sooner rather than later. The earlier that get an answer to a concern or a query, usually it can be sorted out in a much simpler way. I think we all know how easy it is to sit and fret and to put something off when we're concerned what the answer may be. But if you kind of try and remember that we're hopefully nice and friendly, we'll be able to solve it very easily.
Great, thank you, Sarah. Megan?
Yes, so I'd like to kind of mirror everyone else. First off, ask for help. If you do need help, ask for help. That's the most important thing. But just to kind of go away from that, is take the opportunities that present themselves to you. When you're a student, there's so many different opportunities with kind of study abroad and different areas that Julie has mentioned as well, with enrichment. And I think it's really important to get involved with things while you're at university, to just experience new life experiences, meet new people. And that's probably, the study is important, of course, but you gain much more from university than just studying. It's kind of, it broadens your horizons quite a lot. That's what I would say, is take loads of opportunities, but also don't burn yourself out. Everyone can tackle so many different, you can't tackle everything in your life. You need to take a pause, like Jenna said. So make sure that you take care of yourself as well.
Thanks, Megan. And I'm sorry, Charlotte, you're the last one. So hopefully you've had a bit of extra time to come up with something.
Yeah, luckily no one's said mine. I was waiting. So I think, I'm hoping maybe you'll be aware, but if you're not, everybody will be assigned a personal tutor when they join the university, and that's a member of your academic team. And you'll be asked to come along and meet with them in the first few weeks. So I'd say, you know, that will be on your timetable. Really prioritize that. Make sure you go along and meet your personal tutor. I know for some people, you know, meeting an academic can sometimes be scary. They're an expert in their fields and you feel like you're asking silly questions or being really stupid, but, you know, go along, meet them, and you'll find out they're just human people, you know, humans who just really want to help, who are very, very nice and are here to support you. So yeah, my top tip is just definitely trying to attend those personal tutor meetings whenever possible.
Brilliant. Thank you, Charlotte. And I'm going to end, I know we've run a little bit over, but just very quickly, my final parting tip would be, you've still got 1 more week left to access our online platform as part of Head Start Online, where we'll be uploading all of the live sessions that have been recorded over these last 6 weeks, as well as additional resources from the various teams that have provided information about you know, your journey at Kingston University. So please do have a look. The platform will close next Friday at 5 p.m. So you've got a week to sort of catch up, have a look around and get up to date with everything, and maybe even go over some sessions which you might have attended, but you may have missed some of that information. And what I will say is now take the opportunity to say thank you so much to the members of staff that have joined us today, and for giving your great advice and answering all of the questions from our Head Starters today. You guys have been amazing, and I appreciate your time, not only today, but your contributions over the last 6 weeks to make Head Start take place, yourselves and your colleagues as well. And finally, I just want to say a massive thank you as well to all of our Head Start attendees who have taken part during this programme. It's been a pleasure having you join us over these last 6 weeks. I hope that you have taken away some really positive aspects from the programme, and that maybe if you were feeling a little bit nervous before, and you may still be feeling a little bit nervous, hopefully during this time we've given you the power of information, and you may not need some of that information straight away, but hopefully if anything goes wrong or anything happens during your studies, you will know exactly where to go for advice and support. And that's really the aim of Head Start and what we want to achieve. So thank you for joining us and being on this journey. It's been great to have you all here. And if you have any questions at all that you think of, please get in touch with us at headstart@kingston.ac.uk. We may not have the exact answer to your question, but we may be able to refer you to the other areas within Kingston University to help you out. And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye and good luck. And I'm going to you'll be handed over lovely to the welcome team to start your course on the 20th of September. So goodbye, have a great weekend, and see you when you enrol. Bye everyone.
Bye.